Bind and fly FPV quads have come on a massive amount over the last few years, and they've actually become a very popular way of getting into FPV. Manufacturers such as Iflight have really put a lot of effort into delivering very solid bind and fly products, but with that brings a few issues, and one of them is warranty. Over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of murmurings online about the warranty that you get with a bind and fly drone, but specifically the components that it's made from. Because whilst on this Iflight Nazgul, most of the components are made by Iflight, there is one that isn't, and that is the DJI O3 air unit. Now, there has been a lot of confusion about what the situation is with warranty. There seems to be some comments around Iflight not honouring the warranty or DJI not honouring the warranty, and there's a bit of confusion that I want to clear up in this video. Now, just to be clear, what I'm going to show you next was a set of clips taken from my Sunday live stream where I talked about this subject specifically. Hopefully, by the end of this, you'll have a better idea of what the situation is with warranty on bind and flies, and hopefully it will inform you to be able to make the right decisions moving forward. Now, when that finishes, I will come back to the studio and just talk a bit more around my personal thoughts, but before we do that, let's jump over to Sunday's clip. The first thing I want to clear up is this, and this is DJI's warranty policy, because they are not doing anything here differently than they have with any of their other products. And the very basics are of this: no matter the product, DJI will only warrant it in the official country of origin. That is not where you register it, not where you activate it. That is the country that DJI intended that product to be sold to. So when DJI make their drones, their air units, their remote controllers, all of these products, they have a origin country for that one based on its serial number. So this batch of serial numbers will be designed for the UK, this batch America, this batch for China. They will only honour the warranty if it is a product that has been designed for the territory that it was bought in. So when I buy a DJI drone in the UK, or a DJI air unit in the UK, whether it be from a dealer or whether it be from DJI, it should be an air unit that was originally designed to be sold in the UK. I will get my warranty. However, if I was to go on Banggood, AliExpress, and order an air unit or a DJI drone, a Mavic Mini, any of these products, the model you're going to probably be sent is a China version. Now, if you have a warranty need on that, DJI are not going to cover you in your home country. They are going to say, sorry, that product wasn't destined for the country you're in. We're not warranting it. This has always been the same. This is nothing new. I've known about this since like 2014 or 15. We've discussed this. I've got videos on this on the channel, but it is something that is quite new to FPV. So there has always been this argument of, while people may say, oh, I can get a Mavic Mini cheaper on AliExpress, you're not actually saving, because if you need warranty, the chances are DJI will either refuse or they will say you will need to pay to ship it to China for them to fix it, and you will need to pay for it to come back. Now, it is different to other companies. Many companies offer a global warranty. Apple, for instance, offer a global warranty across the world. DJI do not. They sell a product based on the country they intend it to be sold in. It will be warranted in that country only. It's the same situation if you were to buy a drone whilst on holiday. You would get the same issues. This is why I have always recommended you only buy a DJI product in the original country of origin that it was intended to be sold in. So you either go to an official DJI dealer or you buy it from DJI Direct. Now, the issue here is with regards to bind and flies, because these products, take the Iflight ones, are being manufactured in China. Iflight are buying these air units in these drones from DJI in China. Iflight are selling these products all over the world. So the question has come, who is responsible for the warranty on this? And the very simple reality is this: DJI will not warrant the air unit that is in any bind and fly drone. Doesn't matter who the manufacturer is. They will not warrant it unless it was intended for that origin country. So If you were to buy an Iflight drone, that air unit would only be warranted with Iflight. If you were to go to your local FPV shop and they built you a ready-to-fly drone and they used an air unit off the shelf that they'd been sent for distribution in the UK, for instance, you would get warranty. But from the likes of Iflight, Speedy Bee, any other companies making bind and fly drones, you wouldn't get the warranty. Now, the proviso to this would be, say, Rotor Riot. Because the chances are Rotor Riot, for instance, would be building a drone with components destined for the USA. So if you were in the US and you bought a bind and fly from Rotor Riot, the chances are when they built that bind and fly, they went to their stock shelving and went, right, we need an O3 air unit, and they just took an off-the-shelf O3 air unit that would have been sold in the US, and if you bought that in the US, you'd get your warranty. The real issue here is the companies buying and selling them outside their origin country. That's the easiest way to think about this. So, Iflight and many others. Now, Iflight do offer a limited warranty on their bind and fly drones. On their website, it says 30 days. As for what happens when the air unit fails, that is an interesting subject, and the situation isn't 100% clear on that. There are people who have had faulty cameras. It seems to be like the gyro sensor isn't working, and they've had to do a bit of back and forth, but they have had it replaced. What Iflight have said, though, is this. When Iflight have replaced an air unit, they are doing so at their cost because DJI won't even accept them back for them. Now, we don't know if that is true. And frankly, that isn't the user's problem. The user wants his warranty service. The person who built the drone is where you would go for that warranty service. And it's down to them, the manufacturer, to then swallow that cost or arrange with their supplier to get it fixed or replaced. As for what your situation is, your stance, or what you're legally entitled to will depend on your country. The thing to understand, though, in the end is there is basically no warranty with the manufacturer of the individual components when you buy a bind and fly. You will need to go back to the company who sold you the product, and your warranty is going to be with them, and what sort of warranty coverage they're going to give you is dependent on the kind of company they are. Now, this does bring into question, should you buy ready-to-fly bind and flies with O3 air units in? Because obviously Iflight, if you had a problem with the flight stack, should cover you. If you had a problem with the motors, they should cover you. But if you had a problem with the air unit, you may have a bit of argument on your hands. And it is a tough one to say what people should do. These air units are really, really reliable. The chances of a failure are very, very low. And in fact, I'm a firm believer that you only really need a DOA warranty on these. You don't really need a longer warranty because air units don't fail unless you smash them into a wall. And more than anything, what Iflight need to be doing is covering that DOA bit, not necessarily the bit for the next 12, 18 months. And it is hard in FPV because talking about warranty with FPV is a difficult subject. You may crash it on your first flight and break something. Well, that's not the manufacturer's fault. Do we really expect these drones to have a 12-month warranty? They are not they're not a Mavic Mini. They're not a drone that you're tutoring around with. These products are not designed to be crashed, but they are. In the sense of we all know these are going to be smashed at some point. Is a manufacturer really going to want to warrant something if you've crashed it? And it is a difficult subject. It really is. If you're someone that really wants a warranty on a bind and fly product, you should buy it within your local country from a local dealer, even an Iflight one. There are many dealers in the UK and Europe that sell the Iflight ready to flies, the bind and flies, because they will have the legal requirement for the warranty. It is the person who sells it to you, not necessarily the person who makes it. If you're in the USA, it's a bit of a different kettle of fish because the warranty laws in the USA are just bad. Let's be honest, they're not great. The consumer right laws in the US, not remotely as good as the UK or Europe. But if you wanted the best possible protection in the US, literally consider someone like Rotor Riot and the others. Because, you know, Rotor Riot and anyone who pre-manufactures a drone within the origin country. The advantage you'll have to, say, buying a drone built by Rotor Riot is that air unit should be warranted. And look, this isn't Iflight's fault. You have to understand with this warranty, as I said at the start, DJI do not offer a global warranty, period, on any of their products. So in the end, with Iflight, they're left in the position of they're buying the air units in China. Is DJI replacing the broken ones for them? We don't know. Patrick has said no, but it's not for me to get in the middle of that. We do know Iflight will cover people if there is a problem, but what people have to understand is they're not going to cover you for every single little issue on a drone that is designed to be smashed into a wall. You could, though, look at this two ways. Iflight, for instance, and this applies to all of the bind and fly manufacturers, so Iflight, Rotor Riot, all of these companies, they are building the product. It is their responsibility to warrant it. How they cover the cost of that warranty is their problem and not the consumers. So if Iflight or SpeedyBee or Happy Model or any of the others are making a drone, warranty is their problem, not the consumers. It is not the consumer's problem if DJI won't replace that air unit for them. Frankly, that's not our issue. And they need to wind that into their cost and wind that into the price of the product for the amount of percentage failure that they have. What isn't acceptable is saying, this isn't our problem and DJI won't fix it for us, or DJI are being evil, they won't do it. DJI are selling them the air units. Whatever their deal is with DJI is down to them to negotiate. The user goes to the person who sold them the drone. To summarize, DJI do not have a global warranty. They will only warrant the product in its original country of origin. Most bind and fly manufacturers based out of China will be using components from DJI destined for China, and as such, if you were to contact DJI for warranty, they will not cover it. They will tell you to return to the person who sold you the drone. It is then down to that company to handle the warranty. What DJI does with that company isn't your or my problem. At the end of the day, what you're looking for is your drone fixed. But you also need to be reasonable and fair and understand that these kind of products are not going to have the same kinds of warranty than you get, say, on a Mavic Mini, an Inspire 3 or something like that. They are designed to be crashed, and that manufacturer is going to question you a lot to understand what is going wrong. If you want to buy a bind and fly with a warranty on all of the components, then I would suggest you either buy it from a local retailer or from a company that manufactures it in your home country. For USA users, the likes of Rotor Riot is a great example. If they're building them in the country, the chances are they're using components destined for that country, because where else would they get them from? And as a result of that, you're probably going to have a warranty. This really is only an issue for products manufactured in China and shipped out into the rest of the world. And I'm not saying for 1 minute anything that Iflight is saying or doing is wrong. I have seen some good warranty experience from Iflight, and I've seen some bad. So I think, could they do more? Yes. 100%, but they're not terrible, and I think you've just got to look at it on a case-by-case basis. Is Rotor Riot warranty good? You don't get to know. Nicely played. Nicely played. I think Rotor Riot have a lot to lose if they don't offer a good warranty. I've not heard anything bad. What I would say, though, with Rotor Riot is they are building drones in the USA, and I would expect them to be just going to their shelf and going, you want an Avatar drone? There's the Avatar air unit. You want a DJI drone? There's the DJI air unit. And as a result of that, you're going to get one which was destined for that origin country. Now, in that clip, I mentioned about if you were US based, you might want to look at the likes of Rotor Riot for a warranty because they are US based and it should be made from US sourced components. However, I also need to be clear about something that I was only made aware of after I spoke, and that was Rotor Riot do not offer any warranty on any of their quads, period. If you go to Rotor Riot's website, they actually say the following: Rotor Riot provides no warranty of any kind for any of the equipment it sells or otherwise distributes. You assume all risk for any products purchased or received from Rotor Riot, and Rotor Riot employees are not liable for any instance of injury to you or others, damage, destruction of property. Additionally, Rotor Riot is not responsible for any damage, consequential or inconsequential, resulting from the use or application of any Rotor Riot provided products. They go on a bit, but they do add one more bit at the bottom which says, suppose an item you receive from Rotor Riot is faulty or inoperable due to manufacturing defect. In that case, Rotor Riot may replace or repair that item at its sole discretion. Now, this really isn't any better than what we've got from anyone else. Iflight are offering 30 days. Rotor Riot are officially offering nothing. But my point still stands that if Rotor Riot are manufacturing their drones in the US, with regards to that ear unit, so the DJI one, for instance, that would have the DJI warranty. If you were unsure of that, though, it would do no harm to ask them before the point of purchase. Just looking at a few others, GepRC will give you 30 days like Iflight. Beta FPV is exactly the same. And whilst I can't see what is said about warranty on GetFPV, although I haven't looked too hard, what is interesting is on their home builds, they do say made in the USA, which would again imply that you're going to get US-based components in the build. And in theory, if you've got a DJI ear unit in there, it's going to have warranty. But again, you should discuss that with them. And in the end, the reality is warranty and bind and fly drones is a massively complex subject, and the basics are there really isn't any. So that overall sorts the situation with DJI. Now, something I just want to mention on that I did in the video is, what you may find is a different in policy compared to a bind and fly to a product you bought out of country. What DJI have often done in the past is if you bought the product out of country, they would ask you to pay the shipping to China to fix it. However, if you got that product as part of a bind and fly, so like an ear unit, they would tell you to go back to the manufacturer. So if you were to buy an ear unit out of country yourself, they would probably do the warranty, but they would ask you to pay the shipping. But if you bought a drone with that ear unit in, they'd tell you to go and talk to the manufacturer. Now, something I didn't mention in this video was regards to Avatar HD and HD0 in this situation, and in my opinion, it's very much the same, although there hasn't been any test cases. It is, though, still the same situation that the manufacturer of the hardware has sold that to the bind and fly manufacturer, and in all likelihood, you're going to be told to go and talk to them, and the manufacturer of the individual component is not necessarily going to be the ones to look after you. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be the case across the board. You might get a bind and fly with motors from Iflight made by someone else, and if you had a problem, Iflight may replace it. But the basic overall rule will be, if you have a bind and fly, the company who sold it to you or made the bind and fly is where the warranty for all of the components is going to be with. Now, there is one last thing I just want to mention is, in this video, I talked about Iflight a lot, and none of that was meant to be negative. The reason I mentioned Iflight so much in this video was because this subject came up around Iflight drones, and it's Iflight bind and flies that I've predominantly got here. But I will be clear in saying the situation is the same for everyone. Whilst I was highlighting Iflight, it isn't the case that Iflight is any worse or any better than anyone else at this point. There are many bind and fly manufacturers, GepRC, Iflight, we've got SpeedyBee and others. Many companies, Beta FPV, many of these companies make products. They will all be in the same situation, as I've said, especially if they're based out of China. The only change will be the bind and fly manufacturers who are based in your origin country. Now, I am really interested in knowing what you think about this subject. Please do let me know in the comment section. If you have found this video useful, Please do make sure you are subscribed. I have a live stream on a Sunday where the clips from this came from. If you are interested in seeing more of that, there is a playlist with them in as well. Furthermore, I'd just like to say, if you have found it interesting and you'd like to support the channel, please do consider checking out the link to my Patreon in the description. It's only through the support of my patrons am I able to keep making content on this channel, and if you'd like to support us to allow us to keep making content like this in the future, please do consider checking it out. I want to say a massive thank you from me to all of my patrons. We would not be able to do this without your support. Anyway, that's it from me on this one. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Stay safe. I'll speak to you soon.